What's going on, people? Welcome back to the opposition preview as we look ahead to the game against Leeds with Joe from Just Joe channel on YouTube. As always, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to not miss out on future content. Joe, you're a confident man nowadays.
I am,
a team that's still below us in the league. I think you're 14th in the league now?
Yes, mate. Yeah. No, 13th. 13th, we're just behind you.
Just behind us.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that confidence. You changed managers. It's been a long season for Leeds fans. I think you've made some decent investments in some quality players. Maybe some of them haven't stepped up to the plate as much as you wanted, but you got rid of Marsh, which you personally, I know, wasn't a fan of his. And then you brought in Garcia, who I think he's done a brilliant job. But for you, as a Leeds fan this season, how would you sum it up?
It's not been a great season, mate. I think after staying up on the final day last season, I thought we'd have some nice mid-table obscurity, you know what I mean? Like, okay, now that would have been our third season right now. Okay, we've stayed up 2 seasons on the bounce. Now let's consolidate, but that's not been the case. You know, for large parts under Marsh, I thought we were going to get relegated. Had we not changed the manager, I think we would have. Grazia's come in and, you know, he's got a 50% win rate. He's unbeaten at home, wins against Southampton Forest, draws against Brighton, which, you know, I know you're Brighton's biggest fan, but I know, yeah. But it's a great result, though, at home against Brighton. So he's got us playing with width, mate. I mean, our best players are wingers, and Jesse Marsh likes to play central. It just didn't make sense. You know what I mean? So I'm glad he's gone, mate. Word on the street is as well he's favourite for the Leicester job, which let him get him because he'll take him down, bro. That's another position we don't need to worry about then.
You don't rate him that much. What went wrong with Marsh?
The tactics, first and foremost, mate. I remember the reverse fixture earlier on in the season. And the game was pretty even, and there was a break in play. I forget which player was down. I don't know if it was for you or for me. And Vieira called Eze Zaha over and was like, right, listen, I need you to switch the play, get them in behind. He made that tactical switch. Crystal Palace then were on top and end up winning the game. And he had no answer. Like Nottingham Forest, who we beat just the other night, the game before, they went 1-0 up. Steve Cooper came out second half, went to 5 at the back. Jesse just continued to do the same things. We lose the game. He only had one way of playing and didn't have the tactical nous for me, first and foremost. Then he just spoke too much, D. Like, every single player was the best player he'd ever managed. Like, 1 week it'd be Jack Harrison's the best winger I've ever managed. You know, bearing in mind, like, he worked with Haaland, he worked with Minamino, you know, and it's just Liam Cooper's the best captain he's ever had. And you just think, just stop talking, man. He did so many interviews talking about getting into Europe, and you're like, mate, we're in a relegation battle. What are you talking? So for me, he just rubbed me up the wrong way, mate. It wasn't for me, not at all.
Yeah. Do you think your current manager will stay on after the season? Would you want him to stay? Because I think he's been decent for you guys. Forget about the league position. Ever since he's come in, you look like a football side, like a side that could actually cause trouble to sides below them, and you got some, you know, good results against sides that's in and around the same position, and even against sides that's above you. You know, you gave them a good game, like the likes of Brighton. So would you want him to stay, or do you think it's just the case of short-term bounce, and then in the long term you don't really potentially see?
No, I'd like him to stay, mate, because listen, when we sacked Jesse, we went after so many managers and no one came, and he was sort of like an afterthought, and they gave him this flexible contract, whatever that means. I think it'd be the wrong decision based on his performance since he came in to get rid of him, because I have no sort of trust in the board that they'll get the appointment right. And then I start to think of, imagine if they did tell him we don't need you anymore, then they get someone else in, and that goes tits up, and then what? You know, someone's probably because the thing is, Grazia's coming to Leeds, his stock's risen now. So the next job that's available, if he's not at Leeds, someone will take a gamble on him because they'll have seen what he's done with Leeds in such a short space of time. So I think we've got to give him the opportunity, mate. You can't, you know, if he keeps us up with games to spare, which at this moment in time I think might happen, then he deserves the opportunity for me, for sure.
Yeah, what about Palace? What have we made of Palace this season? Because as you said, we were another side that was looking to push on just like Leeds. You know, we've been in the Premier League longer than you guys in most recent times. Anyways, it's been about 10 seasons, and we had a good season under Patrick Vieira, and then this season it's been a mess. It's just been a mess on and off the field. But for you as a neutral, what have you made of the decision to sack Vieira, another manager that's been linked with Leeds, and he's also been interested in the Leeds job even whilst he was a Palace manager? And do you think, you know, it was the right decision to move on?
I think obviously the no shots on target's a wild one. You know, was it like 3-4 games on the spin? Obviously, you were good last season. I like a lot of the Palace players. I like Eze. I like Elise. I like that you're going down there. I like Joachim Andersen, Guehi. There are some good footballers at Crystal Palace. But I suppose the one thing I will say for him, mate, like the run that he was on, D, was tough. So did he not at least deserve the opportunity to maybe go into these games like Leicester, like Leeds? You know, your run now, I was looking the other day, you've got so many winnable games in this month, basically. This month.
To the end of the season,
Your games are so winnable, so you should be safe. And I think you will be. But maybe Vieira at least deserved the opportunity at a few of them. But listen, then, you know, Parish has had to make the decision, because what if it did go wrong? Then what? Do you know what I mean? And then it's too late. So, listen, you've got like your granddad back, haven't you? You know what I mean? You've got Roy back.
It feels like 2018. Yeah, exactly. Just coming. Honestly, it feels like we traveled back in time. It feels so weird. I'm still soaking it in. It's the fact that Roy Hodgson is back at the club. Even in the last game against Leicester, we had Jordan Ayew have an assist. We have Mateta score a goal with Roy Hodgson on the sideline. I was like, what on earth is going on? All these three combinations just shouldn't work in the first place. And you got Mateta scoring. So in the short term, we have got that bounce under Roy Hodgson, and you think that we'll stay up? I think Leeds will stay up as well. I'm not saying this because we're here doing a preview. I think both our teams should be staying up.
Yeah,
because there's teams that's genuinely just so bad, and also our run of games and the confidence that we've got lately after, you know, the wins and the new managers and stuff. I think that'll help us both. But in terms of strengths and weaknesses, what is it then with Leeds? What has changed that we should be watching out for?
It's the width, mate. It's the width. Under Jesse, we just didn't use any. It was you know, all down the middle. You know, there was someone went on a stadium tour and took a picture of like an A4 sheet of paper that was stuck on the wall in the dressing room, and one of the bullet points was minimal width. Like, and for me, that just doesn't work in the Premier League. You know, we've seen Ralph Hasenhüttl try it, and look where he went. You know, Southampton really went nowhere fast under him over as many seasons as they got. So I was always of the case like we would never progress. But one thing Grazia's come in and says, right, okay, my best players are wingers: Cini, Gnonto, Harrison, Somerville. So I'm going to use width, you know, and that's what he's tended to do. So definitely out wide, mate. You know, I've just done my preview and I'm looking at Joel Ward and thinking Gnonto, Sinisterra up against him. That's going to be a nice matchup. It's going to be a very nice matchup.
For you lot, not for us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I say stay away from Tyreek Mitchell and just go over to Ward.
Well, he had an okay game against Leicester. Leicester just didn't offer anything much, but then they did get through on his side once or twice. But then again, that wasn't really the talking point because we won the game and we had like 30 shots and it was all positivity. But that was still one concern.
Do you know what? I remember when Rafinha took Gary Cahill's soul, right? Do you remember that little move? I'm expecting,
I do. You don't have to remind me, you don't have to remind me of all these stuff. You remind me of everything back in the past.
But I'm expecting, and I said this on my preview, Sinisterra to do the same to Joel Ward, man. That's what
What if Joel Ward does it to Sinisterra? How would you feel?
Well, then you can clip me up, D. Then you can clip me up.
Watch. I will. I'm expecting Joel Ward now to step up, but look, jokes aside, it's gonna be. I think that's one matchup for you. But for Palace, then who do we target? What's your weakness if you do have any?
Luke. I really like Luke Ayling, but I will say this for Luke. He always has a good game against Zaha. They always tend to have a really good battle over 90 minutes. But I think at fullback, Luke Ayling could be one area you could target. He's really good going forward, but defensively he's a bit shaky. I think we'll win the midfield battle. I'm not too concerned about that. I like Rocker and McKennie. You know, when I think about it, like last season, one was at Juve, one was at Bayern Munich. So I'm like, you know, we're finally starting to see them get to a certain level now. So the one area is probably fullback. Junior Firpo's improved massively. It's crazy just how much he's come on, because I was ready to drive him back to Barcelona. But Luke Ayling probably, mate, is your main. And set pieces. Defensive set pieces we're not great at. We are not great at. Corners, I worry every time. So there's two areas, probably Luke Ayling's flank and set pieces, bro.
Yeah, with set pieces, are you all right with the attacking set pieces, or just set piece in general? It's not
I don't rate us either, really, mate. I don't rate us. Like, we tend to, always do these signals like we're gonna do something that no one's ever seen before.
Signals I see nowadays. Like, like everything.
And then it doesn't beat the first man. Yeah, it doesn't beat the first man, and you're like, well, that was pointless. So, I don't really rate our set pieces, both defensively and attacking, mate. To be fair.
Yeah. With us, I don't even know. Set pieces, it's not being too bad. But I can't remember really. It's like we're average. It's not something that I've really looked into and thought, yeah, we're bad at set piece or good. We used to be really bad when Vieira first came in, but then we improved there. We've got some aerial threats and set pieces, so hopefully we can target that area. But do you think with counter-attacking football, how do you think you're going to approach the game? I feel like we're not going to have Zaha. So you mentioned Luke Ayling versus Zaha. Zaha's not going to be there, so it's going to probably be Luke Ayling versus Jordan Ayew. So that probably helps his.
That's all right. Yeah.
But exactly. If you don't win this game, by the way, I'm going to be on to you because.
Oh, I know, D. I know.
Yeah, exactly. Because Zaha's not playing. Vicente Guaita, he's meant to be out as well in this game, so we're missing two key players and arguably one of our best attacking player. But yeah, so in terms of that personnel as well, so you mentioned the Luke Ayling's, but Sinisterra as well. Is there anyone else that maybe we should watch out for?
I think Jack Harrison, mate. Jack Harrison's in hot form right now. He's got 4 goal involvements in the last 4 games. He's just signed his new long-term contract as well. So that's, I always believe in little things like that. Football always signed a new deal, then guarantee he's going to score. I think that Jack Harrison's definitely one to look out for. Maybe Rodrigo might start as well, because Bamford gave us 90 minutes last time out, which he very rarely does. I can't remember the last 90 minutes. So Rodrigo might start instead, and he's our top scorer this season. So he's one to watch out for. And of course, Willy Gnonto didn't play against Forest because he was just back from injury. If he plays, then top player.
It's quality as well, exactly. Yeah, I literally lost track of my thought, but then that's what I was going to ask. How do you think you'll approach the game in terms of tactics? Because I think we might have a more of a counter-attacking approach. Especially without Wilf, and then try to hit you on the counter. Do you think there'll be spaces in behind, or do you think you'll be a bit,
No, I think there will be, D, because that's how Forest got their goal. I think that's how Forest got their goal. They came with that similar tactic. I think with Grazia at home against an opposition that'll fancy 3 points against, he will go on the front foot. He'll want to have possess a lot of the ball. He'll look to get it out wide and create goal scoring opportunities. When we played Brighton, for example, we just stood off them, and the crowd didn't like it. We're at home, but ultimately Grazia knows, depending on the opposition, this is how we're going to play. And I just think we will see the similar sort of performance we've seen against Forest, against Palace, because he'll look at it and say, this is a game we should be on the front foot. We're at home. They're in and around us. Do I think we can get 3 points? Is it realistic? Yes, it is. So let's go for it. So, yeah, I expect us to possess a lot of the ball, but there will be chances for you in behind, because Nottingham Forest got some. They hit the post from a set piece, but also their goal came from hitting us on the counter, so hopefully the players step up. The likes of Eze, Elise, without Wilf, it's going to be a bit difficult. Eze always plays well against us, D. Eze always plays well against us. I think he's scored
against you as well. Exactly. I remember at home during COVID times. But you've been confident, Joe. You've been talking up Leeds all week, saying we're going to win our next 2 games. So let's move on to the score prediction. How do you see it going then? I do think you will score, bro, because we can't keep clean sheets, man. We cannot keep clean sheets. Luke Ayling's been gifting goals as well over the last few games, so I expect you to score, but I do think we'll win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. 2-1. I'm going to go for 1-0. I'm going to go for 1-0. I'm predicting a draw. Maybe I'd take that D, I would take it, bro. It helps both of us. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So. But if we do win, that helps us out massively. Massive. The gap widens, even with Leicester, beating Leicester, great. You got to win, but most importantly, it widens the gap.
Yeah,
and just like Leeds, it'll be massive. But away from home, being realistic, I'll take a draw. I'm going to go for 1-0. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. But before we go, Joe, how can they find you?
Yeah, Just Joe Football Show over on YouTube. I'll be doing a watch along for the game. My preview's out now as well if you want to check that out. So yeah, it's heavily Leeds focused. I'm saying we're going to batter you in that though. I'm being a little bit more chilled on Dee's channel.
when we're 2-0 up, just go on his watch along and just be like,
exactly.
2-1. But look, go and make sure to check out Joe's channel. It does football content as well at times by Leeds. So yeah, just in general. So make sure to check out top quality guy. I appreciate your time, Joe, as well.
No worries.
And let the best team win.